Hey guys, it is the final day of 31 and 31. And of course, I'm always a mess after I watch this movie. And I've got my own little Dante right here. He's sleeping or something. Um, yeah, so uh, this is the movie why I wanted to do this year. Because I absolutely love this movie to death. It is it's hands down my favorite Pixar movie ever. Um, and for a lot of reasons. And of course, you've read the title and everything. The final movie of the 31 and 31 for this animated like horror thing, and this um, Halloween animation, whatever you want to call it, is Coco. And yeah, it's not your standard horror flair. There's nothing violent, there's nothing gory, there's nothing whatever. It's nothing but like fucking heart. And the reason why, and I'm gonna have a hard time getting through this one because there's so much in this movie that means so much to me. Um, with everything that goes on in everybody's daily lives and all that stuff. It's because I remember the first time I saw this movie. So like seeing the promos and everything, I'm like, oh, and this is huge. Like during like I have to see like every Pixar movie and I have to go through all these things, and I'm already getting a fucking tear in my eye and everything like that. Um, but it's I remember after watching this movie, and my ex, at the time we went and saw it together, and I straight up looked at her like, of course at the end of it I'm fucking mess because it reminded me so much. Coco reminds me of my great grandmother so much, and you know I just looked at her and said, why didn't I have a movie like this when I was growing up? And it still kind of rings true, you know, growing up, in a mixed household, you know, there are certain things that, you get taught, and there's certain things that you get to see, and there's certain representation that you get when you come to these types of movies. And there was nothing like this for me growing up. There was nothing that explored this side of me. And for those that know me, you know, my grandfather was a huge influence in my life, you know, and I even did an episode, when he passed, and just like a short thing talking about how much he meant to me and how much, he was. And the one thing that he always raised, he raised my mother on, he raised my uncle on, was that, you have to, there are things that you have to give up to be able to make it in this world, this place that, everybody's moved to. My grandfather moved in from Puerto Rico. My grandmother came, she was born here, but her parents, came from Mexico City. And it, for him to make it during the time that he made it here, he's like, you guys, you have to speak English, you have to get yourself moving, assimilate, do all that stuff, like, because otherwise people aren't going to treat you the right way. And growing up, that's kind of the way that it was with everything. And it's, uh, I'm not saying that, oh, I don't wish that, my mother never married my dad, and anything like that, and that you got to forget all this crap, and, or do these types of things. Please don't like take it that way. that I'm trying to say here with this type of stuff, because I wouldn't be fucking around if, my parents didn't love each other and that I didn't have the household that I had and I didn't grow up the way I did. But, you know, it's hard when you don't have half of you, that is out there, and that, you don't have that half of you that is, it's not as celebrated. And the thing is that it's not like I'm saying that it wasn't and it wasn't there. It's just that I never grew up with a representation for myself, right? And it's harder when you're somebody that's mixed, and you kind of end up, at least when I was growing up, you cling to one side, you know. And man, if I had a movie like Coco when I was growing up, I could have clinged to both a lot more easily, in my opinion. In my opinion, like if this was a kids movie for me growing up, I just, not saying that I would have been totally different. I'd still be the person that I am today, but I'd understand a lot more. And to be in that theater and to see the kids that were there that were just so in tune with everything that's going on, and to see them just like to smile and to see that they were being represented on a screen, it was just the coolest thing ever, and it's still the coolest thing ever. And it's one of the reasons why I love this movie so much. And it's so cool to see just everything, to have people just even talking about Dia de los Muertos, and have them, represent it in such a way, in such a beautiful way, so colorful, so loving, so just well crafted, is just, it's an amazing feat to see, and it's amazing film. And it's not just even that, it's the story, that, family is everything, and family truly is everything when it comes to all this stuff. And to see, Miguel grow from being something that, oh, this is dumb, and it's all about why my family is doing this, and why they hurting me, and why are they doing that, to, everything that he has to go through, to everything that also his family has to grow through at the same time, from meeting Hector and finding out who exactly he is. Again, I like to keep these as spoiler free as possible. So if you've never seen Coco, you need to do yourself a favor and see this movie. To just the music, oh my God, the music is so good in this movie. You go into these things, and, when it comes to classic like Disney stuff, it's the music that you always remember, right? The story can be terrible, but the music can be so just memorable and moving, right? And that's what you've got here in Coco. And for me, it's definitely a cultural connection to the movie that really makes it worthwhile, like for me, right? It's not just like that it's a good story, that it's good music, that it's beautifully fucking animated. It's that it is just that cultural fit that, like, you don't see, and I didn't see, right? And yeah, there is a lot of me. I'm putting a lot on this movie because of my feelings and my thoughts and my beliefs, and that's why it works. And to even be able to go down there and, like, my ex was such a Disney, well, was, like, talking to her in past tense, is such a Disney freak, that even, me going down there, and Disney for me, always growing up and going like Disneyland shit like that, was always something that was just, I'm going there. We only went maybe every couple of years. It was always just a special thing, not just to go and to do those types of things, but it was, it was special. And now to go there, and I haven't been back in a while, but to go there and to go to the California Adventure Park and to actually see like the whole Coco exhibit set up, and to see the people that go there. And I remember going there, shortly after my grandfather died, and during the Halloween season, and seeing that they put up a wall so that you could put, you can put messages to your loved ones and stuff like that. Like, it's just, yeah, is it pandering? Probably somewhat. But to have that there for the kids, to have that be a thing is just, it's honestly, it touches my heart and it makes it magical at the same time. And, I even put my grandfather's name on the wall because I wanted to. And it's, again, like, I know this is less about the movie than it is about personal experiences, but and it's, again, it's hard not to get emotional. It's just, it's the way that the movie flows everything, that you, even when you're starting, and it's, when I remember I first watched it, the beginning of the movie didn't get me so emotional, and it gets me emotional every time now I watch it. Like, this is a movie that doesn't fail to make me cry while I'm watching the movie, and I'm not afraid to fucking say that type of shit. Because it's okay to be emotional. It's okay to have things affect you in a way. And, you know, you have such a good character in Miguel, right? And just that, him realizing like how selfish everything he's doing is, and then for him to no longer be selfish towards the end of the movie and realize why, from the big like twist that happens in the movie, which, again, you can see these things coming from out. Are things like so like played in a specific way? It's a movie where the kid's parents aren't fucking dead. That the kid's parents don't die in the beginning for him to learn a goddamn lesson. I will tell you that's a big bonus on it. But I mean, it's, again, I think that there's so much more significance to this movie than it just being the story of what it is, because it's a very basic story. It's a very uplifting story. It's very, but it's just how indebted to the culture that it's representing that makes this such a good movie. That makes it one of my favorite movies. It makes my favorite Pixar movie, like, period. There's a lot of great Pixar stuff that's out there, don't get me wrong, and somebody's going to say it's Toy Story 2. Some people are going to say it's Monsters, Inc. Some people could be with me and say it's Coco. There's so many Pixar. Somebody could say it's Finding Nemo. I know that my cousin's daughter, especially when growing up, that would be the one. Like, Nemo is going to be it. But I don't think that, out of all the Pixar movies that I've seen, nothing touches me in a specific way. And no, not in that one, you dirty bastards. But ones that like specifically speak to me. And it's Coco. Coco is the one, from just, not even let's take the culture out of the whole thing. But it's just like that fear of being remembered, of not being remembered when you're gone, right? That who's going to have me on their ofrenda when, I pass away? Who's going to be the one that remembers what I've done in life? Like, those questions that are there, and how important it is to let the memories of the past stay with us, right? That family is always going to be family, and regardless of who knew that person, you're always going to be remembered by your loved ones and the families with you, kind of in a way, like, no matter what you've done in some things. And it's just, I love the beauty in this movie that just comes from that, like, that alone, right? And it doesn't help that you've got a great fucking mascot in Dante too. That's there, I've got one sitting up on my shelf. I've got my little figurines and all this shit to remind me of this. And when people think of animated movies and me, they kind of put these two together, and there's a reason why. And it's just the love that I have, the love I have for the creators of this movie, for the writers, for the actors, for the musicians that were involved in making the music for this movie. Like, it's one of those, like, I can easily go to musicians. So I'm going to use the example from this past weekend. I went and saw one of my favorite artists play ever. They're not a huge band. It's Gemini Syndrome, and Aaron, the lead singer, I love the way that he uses his voice. I love the cadence that he puts into stuff. I love just what he's able to do. When it comes to music, singers are what resonate with me the most. And being able to sit and just talk with him for a little bit, and just being able to have like a moment and being able to tell him, what the music means to me, what I appreciate from him, what I do, that like, to have a connection like that is huge. And I would I would absolutely love to be able to sit down with the writers of this movie, the musicians that were involved, the songwriters and that stuff, and to be able to just say, and maybe this is my way of kind of doing it, and why I've picked this movie for the end, not just because it's Halloween and you need to see these types of movies, but because Dia de los Muertos is coming up. It's gonna start tomorrow, um, and it's important to me, and it's very important to me that you know that if to have these cultures and have these significance and have certain things be mainstream enough to people know what they are. And growing up, never really understood it, and this would have probably helped me. And it wasn't until really college that it became more significantly important to me, right? Because growing up, I don't didn't get to see it. And if you know, you know. And the definitely, I wasn't as close to my mother's side of the family, except for my grandfather and my my grandmother and my uncle, my cousins. Um, as my dad's family never really had any kids, at all, right? And they were always kind of spread out. So those are the people I had. But because there was such a I don't want to say need, more like, um, and it's not a desire. It's more of um, a philosophy that we can't show these things because then we won't be accepted. And the biggest thing is that we want to be accepted, and we want to not endure hardship. And the only way to not endure hardship is to push a couple of these things aside, and to make it so that no, we're there, we're with these things. And no, we don't celebrate that stuff. That'd be weird. We're just normal Americans over here. And that stuff has gone away, and that's where, like, I think of that's like significantly important. And to have movies like this available to everybody, and to show that, hey, this is fucking normal. This is, yeah, maybe it's celebrated somewhere else, but this is your background. This is what should be equally important to you as everything else in the world. And to have, again, like I said, to have a little kid sit in a movie theater, and at the end of it, to see it, to cheer, to see that, hey, I'm on the screen, hey, that's my people, and hey, it's being celebrated, is one of the most like beautiful things that you can see. um and I wish I had that as a kid, you know but instead I got cool fucking things too. Maybe they weren't culturally sensitive, or maybe they weren't pointed at me specifically as a little kid, but they also shaped a lot of what it is, from horned demons being on the screen, to the Ghostbusters kicking ass, to Indy going through the temple and finding treasures and being afraid of snakes and shit like that. Like, that all fucking shapes me too. But there is a part of me that wish that I had something like this to also bring into my own lexicon, to bring into my own growth. That it would have been great. And I'm glad that somebody made this movie for children, for a generation now, that'll be able to have this and be able to look back on it, and it be one of the like the movies that shaped their childhood, or get them interested in all this stuff. And I love that at the end of the credits, it even says over there, it says what Dia de los Muertos is, and that if you want to learn more, go to your local library, or fucking Google it. I don't think it says the second part. That's just me. But yeah, I mean, hopefully, again, it's just things that people should know about, and people that should really understand. So that's it for this year. 31 and 31. 31 movies down, 31 days down. I hope that you guys have enjoyed all these little mini reviews. This is a solid. It's a solid 5 out of 5 remember me's. Even though Un Poquito Loco is my favorite song in this movie. If because I love that scene. I mean, goddamn, the world of the dead is so goddamn colorful. There's another movie out there too called The Book of Life that I think that you should see as well. While not as good, it's more of an adventure movie than this is. This is definitely the better of the two, and it came out shortly before it. But that one you should watch as well if you get the chance. That's a solid movie. That's a solid 4 out of 5. You know, but this is just for me. It's simply beautiful. So this is, of course, on Disney Plus. If you have it, watch it. If not, find some way to watch it. This is a movie that is solid. So again, thank you guys very much for watching all of these 31 and 31 movies. These little reviews that come out. This is the longest one because, you know, like I said, I have a hard time getting through this without being super emotional and everything like that, and probably beating a dead horse. But nonetheless, I thank you guys so much. If you've seen everyone, I appreciate you so much for going through these. You know, doing these every year is always a fun thing to do. And this year I wanted to do something a little bit different. Next year we'll get back to the gore and the scare and all the other stuff, and we'll figure out what the theme is. If you have not checked out all the Pumpkinhead podcasts, they are available. Please go check them all out. All the way through Blood Feud, which is crazy that I did all 4 Pumpkinhead movies and that there were actually 4 Pumpkinhead movies. And we'll get back to your normally scheduled movie things. There should be a couple of small reviews coming up. I need to watch Cobweb soon because it is available on Hulu, and I need to watch Talk to Me, and I might do video reviews on those, or maybe more. Who knows? But yep, thank you guys. And if you are watching this this Saturday, when this is released, there will be a mini review. Find out what the next movie on the podcast is going to be. And that one should be a fun one to do as well. So thank you guys again. I can't thank you enough. And I'll see you real soon. And make sure you take care of yourselves and each other. And if you want to come join me, I'm live on Twitch most days right now. But normally Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. So come on by, say hi, and what's your favorite animated horror movie? Come and tell me. Come by and see the channel. All right, take care, guys, and we'll catch you soon.